Buonasera, buonasera a tutti. Benvenuti a questo nuovo appuntamento della mia live streaming. Um, Today I would like to talk about the extra virgin olive oil of Umbria. Do you know extra virgin olive oil is one of the most important, is somehow the foundation of Italian nutrition. Do you know that there are so many countries in the Mediterranean area that are specialized in the production of extra virgin olive oil, excellent producers of extra virgin olive oil, such as Italy, of course, Spain, Greece, Tunisia. So all these countries really produce such a very high quality olive oil, but with so many differences, of course, because of the soil, because of the climate, because of the temperatures are completely different in each one. So let's talk about the Italian extra virgin olive oil. The Italian extra virgin olive oil, it's really probably one of the most excellent because Italy is able to produce so many different varieties of extra virgin olive oil. So why I'm talking about extra virgin olive oil? Because this is the main feature to recognize such a very good olive oil. The extra virgin is a term that want to recognize the high quality production because during the production, during the crushing, during the pressing, the cold pressing, with the cold pressing methods, we can obtain probably the best. So extra virgin from what? From water. Do you know that just only today with the modern technology is possible to obtain the extra virgin olive oil because today the modern machines can really separate the liquid part of the olives. I mean the water and the oil. So throughout a mechanism, a technological mechanism, thanks to this technology, there is a sort of machine that at the end of the crushing, there is a total separation of the two liquids part of extra virgin olive oil, that means water and oil. So there is a sort of centrifuge process that creates a perfect separation of oil from water. This is why we say extra virgin olive oil. Do you know that our parents, our grandparents were not able to produce extra virgin olive oil because they couldn't have all the technology that we can use today. So today we can really obtain the best extra virgin, the best extra virgin olive oil in the world. In Italy, there are so many regions that are excellent producers of extra virgin olive oil. I can mention, for example, Apulia in the south and Sicily are really great producers of such a very excellent extra virgin olive oil. In central Italy, of course, I have to mention Lazio region, but mainly Umbria and Tuscany. And then there is also production in Liguria. So it's really, really important to say that these are so many, I mean, different varieties of extra virgin olive oil because the soil is absolutely different. In Umbria, we have three main productions that are, I mean, three main varieties. That is the Muraiolo, the Fantolio, and the Lecchino. The Muraiolo is probably the most popular for the production of extra virgin olive oil. So we cultivate the Muraiolo olive trees just for the production of extra virgin olive oil. So the olives is really very small one, and it's very bitter. It's very bitter. So during the crushing, during the pressing, and during the centrifuge process, the final result is such an excellent, extra virgin olive oil. This olive oil is the last production of November. I bought it from a family producer in Montefalco, and this is really one of the best gold I have at home. Here in Umbria is very popular the famous break, during the middle of the morning, or if you get hungry during the middle of the afternoon. So the special bread, according to the tradition of our grandparents, pane e olio. Pane e olio is absolutely very simple. just a slice of bread, a little bit of olive oil, this way, as you can see, just olive oil. If you want a pinch of salt, but because of the taste, it's so tasty, so superb that we don't like to add anything else except bread and extra virgin olive. Mm. Mm. The taste is really excellent, and it's a little bit bitter because the Muraiolo variety, it's really sometimes too bitter for a lot of, not so many palates really appreciate a lot the extra virgin olive oil. So that it's absolutely interesting to see how lots of olive oil producers also create a blend, mixing together different varieties of olives, the mainly Muraiolo and Frantoio, creating a softer, a smooth taste. Because sometimes the 100% of Muraiolo olives oil, it's really too strong, very aggressive, and not so many people really appreciate it. But anyway, why Muraiolo? Let's start from the meaning of the word Muraiolo. Muraiolo means muro, wall. Because here in Umbria, the landscape is absolutely characterized by the presence of terracements with olive groves. We cultivate olive trees till an altitude of about 800 meters above sea level. It's a very, important altitude. And the picking is handmade. It's a very hard work. So sometimes when we are close to October and November, that is the olive picking, lots of friends sometimes recruit all families and friends for the olive picking, and we don't like to do it because it's very hard. But anyway, it's absolutely a sort of celebration of the production of this gold land product, extra virgin olive oil. So the picking is handmade because here we are in a hilly landscape, so the valley are mainly characterized by the production of crops or sunflowers. It's possible to find this kind of production, but up in the hill, you will see just the landscape views of terracement with olive groves. And the olive trees are really such a very long living and slow growing tree, and sometimes it's possible to find very old olive trees, such as, for example, the Olivo di Sant'Emiliano, that is millenary olive trees. According to the tradition, it has about 1,700 years old. It's really one of the oldest it's possible to find in Umbria. There is another very ancient olive tree close to Giano. Giano, it's not so far, it's just 15 miles far from Spoleto. Giano is another very interesting area for the production of extra virgin olive oil, because it's also located close to Montefalco. And in Giano it's possible to find another millenary olive trees that is has quite the same age of the Ulivo di Sant'Emiliano. The Ulivo di Sant'Emiliano, it's really a spectacular living monument. I have a very nice story, about more than 10 years ago, when I was reading about history and the main cultural and rural traditions in the area of Trevi. So I read about the Olivo di Sant'Emiliano, and I was absolutely shocked and amazed to have this really unbelievable living monument close by my house, and I never heard about it. So I immediately took my car and I drove, but I couldn't find it. So finally I stopped and I asked to a local very old lady, and she told me, oh yes, it's down there, you have some direction. She gave me some direction, and then finally, with no signs, I was in front of this huge, imposing olive trees. It's really, that was one of the really best experiences I had. I was alone, so I appreciated a lot to be in front of this monument, still producing olives that is there from the third century after Christ. There are so many legends around this tree. The name Olivo di Sant'Emiliano is because probably according to the local tradition of Trevi, Sant'Emiliano today is the saint protector, the patron of Trevi. Sant'Emiliano is one of the several hermits, Christian hermits coming from the Middle East that arrived and brought the gospel, gospel of the Christianity, and because of that he was beheaded by Romans. So do you know the third century after Christ is still a period of terrible persecutions against Christians. So because he preached in the name of Jesus Christ, this new king, he was beheaded under the shade of a young olive tree. So this is the legend that according to this very old Christian tradition, the Olivo di Sant'Emiliano that is still there is the same where Sant'Emiliano Milian in the original name of Middle East of Armenia. He came from Armenia. He died and was beheaded, and probably through the holy blood of these hermit Christian, the tree is still alive. So it's really a spectacular feelings and emotions to be in front of it. Every time I bring people there, I see that everyone is looking and touching it because it's something unbelievable that he's alive and still producing. Is imposing, really imposing, 5 meters tall, and the roots are probably 9 meters large, a perimeter of 9 meters large. What is interesting is that really this variety of olive tree, it's really one of the most ancient, but we have documents according to the fact that in the Puglia we can find the oldest, absolutely the oldest olive trees in Italy with more than 2,000 years of age. But this one, it's really one of my best experience exploring the area in between Spoleto and Trevi, because the best way for me to let's understand and let's see the beauty and the real personality, the real soul of this land is being into the nature. And the nature sometimes can tell us unbelievable stories. So here here just to let you know that with me one of my best experience, a very simple but really really very soul touching, is the visit of the millenary olive tree, the Sant'Emiliano olive tree, of course with the visit of the Trevi and with the visit of the cathedral of Trevi. In Trevi the cathedral is titled to Sant'Emiliano, this first martyr, Christian martyr, and the results are very interesting cycle of paintings inside the cathedral, where there is a story dating back 16th century, the late of 16th century, with a collection of paintings, of drawing, where there is the story of life and preaching of Sant'Emiliano, and finally we can see the decapitation under the shade of this young olive trees. So it's really, really one of the best experience. But inside of that olive grove that hides the Olivo di Sant'Emiliano, is also possible to admire the spectacular beauty and the peace that you can breathe and you can really feel into the olive groves. Not for a chance, St. Francis composed the Canticle of the Creatures in olive groves close to Assisi, because these trees is really a mystic tree. And what we have, this final, product, it's really, really part of this. It seems that you are really absorbing the peace and the beauty of this land. Muraiola, I told you, that is the main, most popular olive oil in Umbria. So 90% of production of Umbria extra virgin olive oil is because of the Muraiolo variety. Muraiolo means wool because of its terrassement, but also because the Muraiolo is a variety of trees that prefers a stony land. You know, here up in the hill and mountains are mainly formed by limestone. The limestone is the orogenesis of the Apennine Mountains, so rich in minerals and salt minerals, so that it's important that the Muraiolo variety has a very, very stony, limestone land. In this way, during the rains that the minerals, and the final result is this excellent extra virgin olive oil. So let me tell you something. I don't want to bother you a lot today, but anyway, it's for me, it's really, really a culture. The extra virgin olive oil, the olive oil in Umbria, it's really a lifestyle. There are so many producers that spend long and very hard work inside the olive groves. They take care of their fields of the olive groves so hardly. For example, now is the period of pruning. The period of pruning is another very important moment of the production of extra virgin olive oil. So now here the landscape of our hills is looking at the pruning, burning, so we can see that that line of smokes, because the producer, the farmers burn the final pruning part. So the pruning, it's really, really very delicate, and there is a culture under the pruning. It's not possible to do a pruning, if you are not an expert, because in this way, the tree received the right, exposition to the sun, and the pruning is also important to let create a good production and good quantity of olives for the next production, so that now we are in this moment the pruning, and probably in no more than 5 weeks we will start to have the flowering, so flowers, so that during the summer flowers will turn into the fruit, the olives, and then we can see that at the beginning the Muraiolo variety is very green, it's very, very light green. So then during the maturation, the fruit turns into a very dark uh, black color. When they turn black, it's time for the harvest. I remember lots of stories of my grandmother, and she told me that they waited for the 8th of December for the harvest. It's a very, very far period instead of today. Today, the harvest starts probably from the middle of October till the end or the beginning at least of December. But in the past, so I'm talking about over 100 years ago, because a sort of blessing and celebration during the Samari day, the 8th of December, that was the beginning of the harvest. Is no more has like that very far time. So the beginning starts, the beginning of harvest starts in the middle of October, and then the picking, the hand picking is made early in the morning, very early in the morning, and then immediately the olives are carried into the olive mill for a very, very quick crushing and process of crushing, because in this way we try to save the best quality of olives, so that it is a very, very busy moment for farmers, but very exciting moment, so that the final product is, so when you taste this final extra virgin olive oil for the new production, you exalt all the aromas inside. You feel aromas of fields, of leaves, of stones. It's really a celebration of the land somehow. But anyway, why we see cold press in the label? You know, the cold press, I know that is one of the main features to read in a label of extra virgin olive oil. Here in Umbria, in Italy, we have a kind of a quality certificate that is the DOP, DOP, olio DOP. DOP means denomination of protected origins. So it means that the olives comes from that specific area that is written into the label. So here the hills of Spoleta Sisi are recognized to be from the European community one of the most excellent, area for the production of Italian extra virgin olive oil DOP certification. But we always see cold press. Why cold press? The cold press is very important today because in this way we fight one of the main enemies of the extra virgin olive oil, that is worm. If during this process of crushing and pressing and crushing, and then the process of centrifuge, methods, of course, the heat of the paste right to be very, very high sometimes. So with a system of water in the tubes, we keep this warmed into a very, very low level. In this way, all the aromas and all the main organoleptic features are preserved, and in this way we can really preserve the best aromas and tastes of that specific olive oil. So the worm is one of the main enemy, and another enemy is the light. This is why we always have this very dark green bottle. This is very important, but please remember that the final color, it's not a way to understand a good or a not good olive oil. If you see, this is gold. It's not really very green, but this is excellent. In this way, we have why is excellent because of the acidity of the extra virgin olive oil is very, very low. So the presence, the bottling that is made in this specific dark green bottle is because we want to protect the olive oil inside from the sunlight. So the light is another enemy, terrible enemy. So what is the best way to storage, to preserve a bottle of extra virgin olive oil? Is just to put in a very dark, dry storage at home. So, for example, I can eat, I can drink, I can have this extra virgin olive oil that is of last production. I'm talking about of last November, 2020, sorry, 2020, and I can keep it for more than a year. So that because the bottle, because I'm going to storage the olive oil into a very dark, dry part of the house. In this way, I can absolutely open a bottle of extra virgin olive oil in 1 or 2 years. Let me tell you that here in Umbria and in central Italy, we cook everything with extra virgin olive oil, even a cake. For example, in the north of Italy, they use a lot butter, but we use olive oil. We don't use a lot of butter during the preparation, for example, of our apple pie or a pie, because the olive oil is somehow the foundation of all our recipes. Probably you have seen the recipe that I prepare with the gnocchi al pesto. One of the secrets of a very good and excellent pesto is to have basils, of course. But anyway, it's absolutely important to have an excellent extra virgin olive oil. In Umbria, a lot of farmers make more family production, but there are some farmers that have a very important quantity and they export. They are able to export. Yeah, my husband is keeping my slice of bread. No, you can take it. So that this is just to let you know about the olive oil. You know, it is an important moment. When there are people, visitors and travelers that are interesting to discover the secrets and our culture and traditions, I always bring them into our, of course, olive groves. And the visit of Trevi, that is Trevi, it's really considered the capital of extra virgin olive oil, together with the Spoleto area. In the countryside of Spoleto, there are so many small districts that are really excellent: Bazzano, Foreta, and Eggi. Campello sul Clituno is another important area of production of extra virgin olive oil, but Trevi is absolutely the capital, considered the capital of extra virgin olive oil productions. In Trevi, it's also possible to visit a museum, such a very interesting, spectacular museum, totally dedicated to the olive oil culture, where it's possible to see an unbelievable reconstruction of the typical rural house of olive oil producers, so that it is really classic reconstruction of the old techniques of um, of production that are still quite the same today. And also the museum is able to show a collection of instruments, very old broken instruments used for the very, very hard handmade harvest. It's really, really excellent visit, very interesting, and really something new to know and to understand about Umbria rural culture. Okay, so uh, today, this has been just a very short connection, just to tell you about how unbelievable is this land. There's so many experiences are possible here in Umbria, and the discovery of the olive oil tradition. It's really, really worth. Also in the area of Trasimeno Lake, close by Perugia, there is the fourth largest lake in Italy. The hills of Trasimeno also produce such a very interesting production of extra virgin olive oil, and it's also interesting to go around, to have a round trip and taste so many different olive oil with a very excellent bruschetta fresca. So this is really, really something that I always suggest for people that are also interested in this kind of activities. Okay, I really hope that I didn't bother you, that I was not boring, but I was, today I was thinking what I can talk about. Oh, let's talk about the extra virgin olive oil, because this is the pruning moment. This is a very important moment. And you know that during the Sunday plant, so the Sunday before Easter, we use the blessing of a branch of olives, in a sort of signs of peace, of rebirth. So let's talk about our upcoming rebirth from this pandemic moment. Okay, ragazzi, I hope that you enjoyed, this moment with me. If you want to see my new travel brand, that is Mother Umbria, you can find me on motherumbriatravel.com. You will find so many interesting activities that I'm going to plan for the new, upcoming season, with a special attention of wine and food activities and cultural guided tours all around Umbria. And if you appreciate it, please support Daniela, Mother Umbria. You will find in the home page a little button to donate, just to support me. And I really hope that you enjoyed. So stay tuned, because on Facebook, I always post very nice and funny cooking classes, and today I did the gnocchi al pesto, and they were excellent, of course, with extra virgin olive oil. Okay, bye bye. Have a nice weekend. See you until next time. Bacio.